Jawson tumbled over the rotting log before him. He scrambled to stand up, but his haste was such that his feet couldn't find traction underneath him, and he fell again. All around him echoed the dark laughter that crackled under the dead leaves beneath his feet. The shadows loomed and threatened to engulf him, and he cringed in spite of himself. His feet finally found purchase, and he sped off between the dark husks of wood before him. Their spindly branches seemed to reach for him, and he swore he could hear his sister Shirka calling out to him from beneath the roots of several dead trees as he sped past. "Ah, Jawson, help me! Dinna leave me here!" Her voice seemed to choke off as if filled with liquid, and Jawson's mind involuntarily filled with the last vision he saw of her, with blood foaming from her mouth as a giant pincer-like claw punched through her chest, her dead eyes staring out accusingly at him as she slumped on the ground. He'd run. He hadn't tried to stay and avenge his kin. He'd left her dead at the feet of the giant fiend who had stormed out of the dark to begin the slaughter among his squad. They were all dead now. All but him. He would have felt shame crawling under his skin if he wasn't so terrified. The forest did not care one whit for his terror. In fact, it seemed to absorb it, feed off of it. Phantoms hovered in the corner of his vision now. He staggered once more, this time over a rock that shifted under his foot as he stepped on it. The voices were back again, but this time they whispered. "Faithless," they purred. "Coward." The murmuring accusations filled his ears with rotting silence, and the words formed in his mind. Cursed. Doomed. Forgotten. Each word shortened his breath, and he felt as if the smoky shadows were wrapping themselves around his throat. He struggled, and through sheer force of will managed to push himself to his feet and continue running. He had no idea where he was going, but as he ran his eyes landed on what appeared to be a shaft of light hovering in the distance. It may be another trick of the darkness, but it was his only hope, and so he clung to it. His short legs pumped harder, and he propelled himself towards the light. Behind him the dark drew closer and closer. He could almost feel the blackened teeth snapping at his heels. Something wanted to devour him. And then, just like that, he burst through the shaft of light and found himself standing on a grimy beach. Ahead he spied the beginnings of what looked like a landing party of men, elves, dwarves, and other living beings. He cried out a warning and began running towards them, his tired legs faltering as he fell to his knees, exhaustion threatening to overwhelm him. Then he heard the crackling once more, followed by the sounds of branches cracking and leaves rustling behind him. His legs renewed their fervor. He rose to his feet and started sprinting. He didn't need to look behind him. The terrified looks on the faces of those to whom he was fleeing was evidence enough that something was chasing him.